Okay, let's get started with chapter number 13. So what we're going to do is really begin with, looking at participants and recruiting and enrollment of participants. And this is kind of a nice trajectory as far as the overview of what you want to really examine and do as you proceed throughout the procedure. So it starts out in the very beginning that you're kind of defining who you're looking for. You're going to develop a plan to recruit those folks, make those contacts. You're going to disseminate information. You're going to ask them to be a part. And then you're going to get their consent. And this is a key factor in any type of research study, is getting informed consent, and that the participants are fully informed, and we'll dive into that a little bit deeper. So you're going to take a look at those who you've screened and provided informed consent and they have given consent, to make sure that they're eligible, and not have those who to participate who are not eligible. So you're also going to look at ways to retain them in your study if it's more than a one-time contact, and then report those findings. So this is kind of an overview of the process. So when we're looking at the recruitment plan, we want to figure out how we're going to access the population, look at some barriers that may exist, and very often there are barriers, and those are things to really consider, because you want to make sure that you have a good representation of the population, and sometimes that's a challenge when you can't reach all the folks that you really need to reach. And then it goes into contacting those folks, and it may be a number of different ways or avenues to do so as far as making those contacts. And how you contact, this is a nuance, how you contact them really depends on your target population. So you may not use home phones if you're looking for folks ages between 20 and 40, because many of them don't have home phones. So those are all things to consider as you're looking at engaging people. So as far as inviting those participants, you can do that in any number of ways, and the most important thing is to be personal and engaging. Those are the ways to really get individuals, and surveys are very popular. So internet surveys and requesting feedback via surveys is really a positive way to reach out to folks. And then we go into informing consent, and we must have an overview of the purpose of the study, the procedures, any risks, whether they would be real or possibly potential risks, and the benefits. And then we're going to screen them for eligibility and enrollment. So have your inclusion and exclusion criteria very clear, so that you can define who needs to be in the study. And then really that enrollment depends on the type of study design. So that's really important to think about as you're devising your inclusion and exclusion criteria. So when we're looking at retaining and reporting back to participants, again, it's very important to engage folks in the study. And the next step is doing that after you get your results. You need to make those results available to those who participate. And part of the process of engaging folks is providing an opportunity for debrief, or giving them a contact information so that they can reach out even after the study is completed. That if they have questions or something afterwards, they know who to reach out to, who did the study, so that they can get additional information, or if they have questions after everything is completed. So, looking at those motivators, and we'll be looking at barriers as well. So, what triggers people to be in different types of studies really varies. And sometimes those that you really want to study may not have the motivation to be in the study, but we always must adhere to having them willingly and volunteer to participate in any type of study. And then, of course, there are always barriers, and sometimes it may be a lack of convenience, it may be a cost, a fear, they may not trust. All of those factors come into play with those who may or may not choose to participate in particular studies. So if you have any questions about the materials, please let me know. We're going to move on to the next chapter.